In the high-stakes game of power, what if I told you your greatest weapon isn't what you say, but what you don't say? We're always told that to be influential, you have to be eloquent, persuasive, you have to talk. But what if that's completely wrong? Today, we are diving into a principle that flips that entire idea on its head.
Just let that sink in for a second. Real power isn't found in noise. It's crafted in silence. It's never about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the one everyone leans in to hear, the one whose few words carry all the weight. You know who I'm talking about. You've seen this person. It feels wrong, doesn't it? In a world that is just drowning in communication 24/7, the idea that the real advantage comes from restraint, well, it's a game changer. So let's break down exactly how this works. Okay, so here it is, a core principle from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. This is law number 4, always say less than necessary. And let me tell you, this isn't just some clever tactic. It's a deep understanding of human nature that the most powerful people have used for centuries. So what this really boils down to is 2 things. First, talking too much just makes you seem ordinary. It makes you predictable, less impressive. And second, every single extra word you utter is a potential landmine. It's another chance to say something foolish, something you can't take back, something that someone will use against you. But why? Why is silence so intimidating? It goes way beyond just being mysterious. It actually taps directly into a fundamental flaw in our human psychology.
See, we are hardwired to find meaning in absolutely everything. We cannot stand a vacuum of information. It makes us uncomfortable. So when someone is silent, our minds just race to fill in the blanks, trying desperately to figure out what they're really thinking.
And look at how this process plays out. Step 1, you just stay quiet. This creates a void that makes the other person incredibly uneasy. Step 2, they rush to fill that void with nervous chatter, and in doing so, they start revealing their own thoughts, their weaknesses, their real intentions, all without you even asking. So by the time you finally do speak, your words land with immense power. You win. This quote from a 17th century cardinal just nails the stakes perfectly. Think about it. A foolish action might be forgotten, maybe corrected, but foolish words, they stick. They stain your reputation, and that impression is almost impossible to erase. To really see this law in action, we have to travel back in time and look at one of history's true masters of power, King Louis XIV of France, the famous Sun King. Now, Louis XIV wasn't born with this skill. Oh no, he had to learn it. His entire reign shows this deliberate, calculated transformation where he weaponized silence and used it as one of his core tools of control. And you can see this shift right here. As a young man, Louis loved the sound of his own voice. But once he was king, he realized true power wasn't in eloquence. It was in being completely unreadable. His answers became short, vague, often just a simple, "I shall see." And this drove his courtiers insane. They were trapped. They desperately needed to know what the king was thinking, to keep their jobs, to stay in his favor, so they talked and talked and talked. They revealed their plans, their secret alliances, all in this frantic attempt to get some kind of reaction from the silent, all-seeing monarch. And this observation from someone who actually lived in his court says it all. Louis turned his words into a scarce resource. And just like any scarce resource, their value went through the roof. A single short comment from him would be analyzed for days. He said less, and in doing so, his power became absolute. Okay, so a French king from the 1600s, that feels pretty distant. How does this law possibly apply in our world of nonstop Zoom calls, emails, and social media? Well, as it turns out, it is more relevant today than ever before. Let's jump from the Sun King to the king of pop art. Andy Warhol got this law instinctively. He built his entire public persona around being an enigma, and he cultivated this incredible aura of power simply by saying almost nothing. His interviews were masterpieces of this principle. He'd give these one-word answers or just really bizarre cryptic phrases. He never explained his art. He let the critics and the public project all of their own theories onto his work. And the more they debated its meaning, the more famous and valuable it all became. He created a vacuum, and the world rushed in to fill it for him. So how do you actually use this in your life? Well, next time you're in a negotiation, state your number and then just be quiet. Let them break the silence. In a meeting, let other people speak first. When someone asks a probing question, give a vague, open-ended answer that makes them talk more. In a huge warning here, avoid sarcasm like the plague. It's just a cheap form of verbal aggression that creates enemies for a tiny moment of satisfaction.
But what happens when you violate this law? When you talk too much? Well, the consequences can be catastrophic. The power of your words isn't just in what they can build, but in what they can instantly destroy.
So let me set the scene for you. It's Russia, 1825. A man named Kondraty Rylyev, a poet and a rebel, is about to pay the ultimate price for challenging the Tsar. His life is literally seconds from ending. So imagine this. He's on the gallows, the trapdoor swings open, he falls, and lands on his feet. The rope snapped. Now, back then, this was seen as a sign from God. A man who survives his own hanging is almost always pardoned. He has just been given a second chance at life, a miracle. And in this moment of miraculous survival, filled with relief, maybe a little arrogance, Rylyev looks at the crowd and utters these completely unnecessary, sarcastic words. A stupid joke at the expense of the government.
A messenger was already racing to the Tsar to get the official pardon. But when Rylyev's little comment got back to the palace, the Tsar was insulted. He simply rescinded the pardon. They found another rope, and this time, it held.
One single, pointless sentence cost him his life. He was saved by a miracle, only to be condemned by his own mouth. That is the ultimate brutal lesson here. Once the words are out, you can never, ever take them back. And this really brings us to our final point. Real power requires mystery. When you say less than necessary, you remain unpredictable. You force everyone else to reveal their cards while you keep yours hidden. They're out there playing checkers, while you are playing chess. The less you say, the more they will hear. Remember that.